Hello everyone, I am Crawlers, and today I'd like to start off a short mini series on my channel about YouTube uploading and tips and tricks for smaller channels and YouTube noobs and such. Because I get asked this question quite often, how do you record your commentaries, how do you record gameplay, what software do you use and such. And so in this part 1 of the series, I am going to cover perhaps one of the more important aspects of video creation, the recording software. Obviously, there are plenty of these apps out there, and frankly, many more of them than I can fit into this video, but I'll just go over the main ones and the ones I've used before in this video, because this seems to be the question I get asked the most. What do you use to record? Well, here goes. Alright, so let's now try to get through all these recorders that I have, because as you can tell, I have lots and lots of them right now, so it'll take some time to get through all of them, and you might not even know some of them, because some of them are lesser known and some of them are free. So without further stalling, let's get to the very first one. The first one I'm gonna cover is probably one of the best ones so far, the MSI Afterburner. And it's got a few good things going for it, most notably the fact that it's free. So, right out of the gate, it's probably one of the best recorders right there. You can go to settings and see a few options to change for your recording on screen, like gaming. You can change your frame rate, your frame size, obviously the folder, and you can select up to 2 audio capture streams. Now, when you record 2 of them, let's say your mic and your speakers, Afterburner will actually place them into 2 separate audio streams, so you can later edit them in, I don't know, any editing app like Sony Vegas, which is what I like to do. It'll also take screenshots, which is quite nice, and it will record smaller video files because it will compress them somewhat than, let's say, Fraps, and which is a good thing it's got going for it. Obviously, it's got some other great properties, like showing you the GPU temperature, the GPU usage, the fan usage, and so on and so forth. So, it'll also overclock your video card, regardless if you have a AMD or an NVIDIA card. And speaking of NVIDIA cards, my second recorder, where is it? Right here. My second recorder comes standard in the NVIDIA GeForce Experience. Now, this recorder is called Shadowplay, and it's accessible if you go to the GeForce Experience, and it comes free with your 600 and up GeForce cards. So if you click Shadowplay, you can see that this recorder, this is the on-off button, has several basic features going for it. Most notably, one of the features that it has going for it is the fact that you can record either manually or in shadow mode. Now, shadow mode means that the recorder will actually monitor your gaming without you having to press the record button for up to a selectable amount of time, which you can select right here, up to 20 minutes. And basically it will record all that video without you having to manually press the record button. So, if you forgot to press the record button and something good happened, you didn't actually lose that recording, as you can then press the save button and that video will be saved. Now, Shadowplay is in beta right now, but it has quite a few good things that you can customize. For example, you can customize the quality of it. You can set the resolution, the frame rate, and the bit rate, which is quite important, and the audio that it gets to record. Now, one of the bigger things that Shadowplay actually has going for it is the fact that it will record very, very small video files without any lag, because it only uses your video card to record and to compress using H.264 compression on the fly. Now what this means is you will get files that are 5, 6, 7 times smaller than video files you would get from Fraps. So, and without any lag, which Fraps is notorious for. It lags you a whole lot. Now obviously Shadowplay can also record from your desktop, and it can also stream to Twitch, which is important, and it can also include your webcam picture overlaid right on top of the video, but unfortunately right now it only overlays the webcam picture if you are actually streaming to Twitch. So, if you want to record your webcam, you might open up an app, something like Movie Maker, and just press this webcam button, and there you have your webcam picture to record. Pardon all these frame counters, because I have all the other, like this is the counter for mirrorless action and Afterburner, Fraps, and so forth. So Shadowplay is probably one of the best free right out of the box recorders that I can think of right now, and it's the one I'm actually using currently, because it creates such small video files that they are very easy to use. It does have a couple of drawbacks though. One is it doesn't show the frame counter as far as I can tell in the game overlays, and it also will use a lot of your video RAM, which I have 3 gigabytes of, I believe, and it will use all that. Also, when recording your multiple audio streams, when you select in-game and microphone, what it will do is it will only record one audio stream, so it will place both audio sources in one audio stream, so you can't later separate them in an editing app like Sony Vegas, which I use a lot. And also, as far as I know, it won't take screenshots. So that, but still it remains one of the best recording apps so far. Alright, next let's go to the next app on our list, which is Open Broadcaster Software, or OBS, if I can just find it, which is available for free, and I'll put a link down below in the description to download it. Now this is a nifty little app which allows you to live stream and or record your gameplay and your mic if you wish to, and your speakers. Now the way it works is you first have to add a scene as your source and add some sort of window that you want to record from. Like, let's say I want to select this window right here, and then you can you have obviously a bunch of other features to select from, and then you can start recording or broadcasting from that window. And obviously you can have several scenes pre-selected, so you can switch between them on the fly. Now it also has a bunch of interesting settings. For example, all your wonderful video and audio codecs that you can select and such, and broadcast settings. Obviously the server you want to broadcast to, some hotkeys to begin and stop recording, or you can just select file output only and just record without broadcasting. And for that you will have to first browse and select save a file, a video file that you want to record the video to. Now it will also obviously you can customize your resolution and audio and a bunch of other stuff. So for a free app it is very customizable, but might go a little over the top for newer users because it has so many features in it. Alright, so next recorder we have on the list is something I've used a lot personally, mirrorless action. Now mirrorless action is actually, I'm gonna downsize all the others here. Mirrorless action is actually a pretty nice recorder. It's very graphical. It doesn't have a whole lot of features, but what it does have, it's perfectly customizable. So it will record your gaming, your desktop, or an area of the screen that you select. It will output that to MP4 or an AVI file, AVI, in original, or by the way, if you select MP4, the most you're gonna get is 720p. So I always record it to an AVI. Now you can also select different frame rates that you want to record to. You can pre-select a duration that will automatically record, and you can record a second audio stream from your microphone, which it does quite nicely because it records a separate audio stream that you can later edit in Sony Vegas, as I said before. Now right here it has the list of all the recordings that you have in this folder, and unfortunately one of the downfalls of this app seems to be that it likes to crash if this folder that you have recordings in is over a certain size limit. So if it's over 100 or so gigabytes, then there's so many recordings in it, it likes to crash on startup, which I don't know, might be just native to my system, but that's something to look out for. Now what's interesting about mirrorless action is it lags very little, if at all. Might not lag at all. So it records quite nicely. It overlays the frame rate, and it will also broadcast your live stream, your gaming, and it will also record an audio file as a separate file without recording your video. And another feature that it has going for it, mirrorless action has going for it, is an interesting one. That is, it does record some pretty large movie files that you will record from your game as raw files, not actually raw but AVI files, but you can later you can even play them. There's a native player to this app, but you can later export them and it will compress it a whole lot. You have some different profiles that you can select here, but basically what it will do is it will export the file and compress it and make it a whole lot smaller, which, as you can see, is just oodles and oodles of space that it will save. And it will also use your GPU to encode and compress that footage. So this is a nice feature going for it, and these files will then be these encoded compressed movies will then be playable in any player like VLC. I like to use personally VLC because it's free and it will play just about every video known to man. Now the problem with the original recording that mirrorless action will put out is that it will use a codec that's not native to VLC. So VLC will not play that video right out of the box, but it will play the compressed exported video, or you can just import it to a video editor like Sony Vegas, and that will play it anyway. So mirrorless action is a very nice app and it has a few good things going for it. Oh, and another thing I forgot to add is it will automatically stop your game recording if you accidentally Alt-Tab out of a game, which is a pretty nice feature for me because on numerous occasions I forgot to stop recording and I Alt-Tabbed out of the game, and it saved me by saving that recording right there. Alright, so next let's take a look at one of the most widely used recorders ever, and that of course is Fraps. Now, personally, I don't like to use Fraps and I wouldn't recommend it in any way. Why it's so popular, I'll probably never understand, but I think it has something to do with the fact that it's probably the easiest one to use. In fact, it has the simplest layout and the fewest amount of options that you can customize. It will record your desktop if you wanted to. It will record movies, and it has very few options that you can customize, like the frame rate, the resolution, and it will also add a second audio output, and it will also take screenshots, but that's about it. That's all the options that you can customize. Now, as far as its downfalls, I would say that it's probably one of the worst recorders yet, simply because it lags so much. It uses such an old codec to record that it will lag your CPU something horrible, and it will also output very, very large video files, easily over a gigabyte per minute. So it will just I don't recommend using it in any way, especially for if you don't have that fast of a PC that you can handle the extra frame loss. Alright, so next we take a look at one of the more popular recorders, and that is of course Dxtory. Now, Dxtory seems to be one of the more popular ways to record games, but I haven't actually had a chance to use it, but people seem to swear by it, because they like it so much. Because it lags very little, it outputs smaller files than, let's say, Fraps, and it has a crazy amount of options that you can customize, which might seem a little scary at first to a person that has never seen that many options in a recording app, who has, let's say, come from Fraps, where there's like 2 options to change. Obviously, you can see that there's a frame rate you can select, different cropping options and such. And one of the areas where Dxtory excels is you can select from a crazy amount of codecs to record video and audio. And for audio, you can add multiple streams and pre-select them to different sources. Now, Dxtory has some other interesting features like, well, screenshot recording is nothing new, but what it does is you can select several different folders for its output for recording, so that you can record to multiple hard drives when you select different folders. And you can also save your presets in the profile drop-down box. Alright, so next we come to a recorder called Screen Recording Suite, and this is a recorder I actually use quite often. It's actually quite powerful and has a lot of features that you can modify. Now, it's not free, but it actually does a lot of jobs that you can throw at it. It will take screenshots, it will capture desktop quite nicely, it will capture the mouse, it will put a highlighter around the mouse if you so want, it will record different audio sources, different video sources, it will output only a region of the screen, record if you want to, only around the mouse, only your webcam, or only an audio file, so if you so want to record only your microphone, which I do quite often because I record my commentaries, my gameplay commentaries after I play, so I record them after I just record the audio file and then overlay it over the gameplay. It also has quite a lot of options. As you can see, you can shortcuts. Here are the keyboard shortcuts for drawing and starting and stopping recording. Also has a lot of options for the audio inputs, the video codec and the audio codec, the bit rate, which is quite important, and the frame rate, which is also important depending on what you are going for. Now, this is one of those go-to apps I like to use, especially when I record some sort of a tutorial with desktop and maybe an After Effects tutorial or something like that, because it is, it's very useful in that, and it's quite powerful. And obviously you can see, you can, record things to this folder and, delete them right on the spot, rename or play, or even convert them with the built-in video converter. But even without that, it records quite small files, which I am really grateful for. So it's a nice little recorder and probably worth the money. Alright, now I come to my last couple of recorders so far, which are don't seem to be incredibly popular, but I'm going to show you them nevertheless. Now, this recorder, Bandy Cam, I can't really say a lot about this app because I haven't really used it before. It seems to be a no-frills little recorder that does alright for itself. It will capture video or screenshots and output them whenever you want. Now, it will hit your FPS a little bit while recording, but will output much smaller files than all the other recorders except maybe Shadowplay, and can record Windows, 2 audio streams, hell, even Skype if you want to feel a bit like the NSA. Alright, so my last recorder that I'm going to go over is called Playclaw. Now, I don't really have anything good to say about this recorder. Really, it seems to be another no-frills recorder that looks similar to Bandy Cam, but it's just not very good. The output file sizes are very big, it lags a lot, even with multiple compression threads enabled, and it will record 2 audio streams if you wanted to, and make there's a huge and somewhat redundant section of selectable recordable frame rates, but it also likes to crash my games. Not sure if that's a problem on my side or what, but so far it has crashed every game I've thrown at it. So I don't really recommend this one at all. So that's my review of the several recorders that I use and don't use. So, thanks for watching. Please rate and share this video as it helps my channel grow. Please check out my other videos at the end of this one. And remember, in Soviet Russia, YouTube subscribes you.